Microsoft's blockbuster acquisition efforts for Activision Blizzard have generated many interesting conversations about the future of video games, with industry experts and gamers alike pondering the ideas and impacts of everything from monopolization, monetization, and now cannibalization within the gaming marketplace. Yes, you heard that correctly.
I was like, wait a second.
Yes, we're not talking about eating people, by the way. That would be horrible, and I'm pretty sure we'd be banned from Facebook. What we're talking about is the release of data and information that Microsoft is giving as they prepare and present their legal case for successfully purchasing Activision Blizzard, which is one of the largest gaming studios in the history of gaming. But within that, a fascinating tidbit of financial information leaked out concerning one of Microsoft's largest efforts to disrupt the way that we purchase and experience games: the Game Pass. Specifically, Microsoft is finally admitting that their Game Pass service cannibalizes the actual sales numbers of the games that are included in the service, something that most of us assumed, but we couldn't actually prove.
I was about to say, like,
I mean, it just made sense.
They're just now figuring that out.
Well, they knew. They're just now admitting it.
I was going to say. I think we talked about that in the very beginning, didn't we?
Absolutely. I think most people figured, but then, maybe fuzzy math. Who knows?
Yeah. Well, while this data doesn't speak to additional money made off of licensing agreements or additional DLC purchases, the truth is that allowing gamers to simply download major first-party titles like Halo Infinite or Gears of War 5 on day one, or other popular games such as Minecraft, has to limit the amount of those games that are actually purchased at their full retail price.
And now that we've heard this information directly from the source, we have to look at the entire Game Pass service in a brand new light. For the uninitiated, if you've never experienced it, Microsoft Game Pass is a service that can be purchased in a variety of methods: monthly, annually, which gives members full access to a massive catalog of games that can be downloaded or streamed by the player as long as their membership is active.
While this service does come at a cost, even at its most expensive option, it is still far cheaper than purchasing a new game every single month.
So when a game that would normally cost $60 or $70 for purchase, like the upcoming Starfield, is able to be played from its launch date for an entire month for $14.99 or less, that means that gamers can download, play, and finish the game for a fraction of the cost that these games would have cost them if they purchase it through traditional retail channels. Now, sure, the game is not actually owned by the player. There's some rules, like a persistent online connection must be present in order to maintain access to the game. But the truth is, seeing multiple games through to completion from the opening cinematic to end credits is now something that can be done for less than the price of a movie ticket and a small popcorn, which is really honestly true. Most of the time a small popcorn is more than a ticket.
It really is, isn't it? What's up with that? It is. Anyway, and for this to be possible, someone has to pick up the tab and pay the ever-growing developmental costs to create these gaming experiences and offer them for this price. And since Microsoft is certainly not doing this for charitable reasons, there must be a different, more long-term strategy at play here.
Microsoft is still a company with earning commitments, shareholders, and investors that it must keep happy to remain in a position to pursue acquisitions like Activision. So how do they balance the idea of paying billions of dollars for a new studio with the truth that they will turn around and offer titles like the next Call of Duty as an included part of their Game Pass service? Well, it's all part of their long-term plan to dominate the gaming marketplace for years to come by redefining the gaming marketplace through their Game Pass service.
The only path to get there will take years of costly investments, many of which will not yield any immediate returns. As a matter of fact, these sacrifices may not deliver any short-term benefits other than increasing the number of subscribers to the Game Pass service.
But making these sacrifices to give away their biggest and best franchises as part of this membership service at the cost of cannibalizing their current sales opportunities is a smarter business decision than most of us would realize. In a world where many of us seek immediate gratification and expect rapid results for our efforts, Microsoft is playing the long game. They aren't giving away their money. They're investing it into a future that offers a far more lucrative payout than the meager pittance of the profit margins they could enjoy at this present time.
This exact same concept is present in the life of every human being, with the daily choices we are compelled to make with similarly far-reaching ramifications. Are we seeking a quick return on our investments of time, energy, and efforts, or are we making short-term sacrifices for a long-term gain?
Are the decisions we're making today going to improve our current state of existence or supply us with future comfort and enjoyment? It's a conundrum we face every time we look at the 24-hour period of time we're faced with each day and make decisions on how to fill it. What do I need to do? What would I like to do? What is truly necessary, important, and beneficial? There's a war we all fight in every choice to either make this current moment more satisfactory or provide our future self with an advantage. These answers are not always easy. And when it comes to our walk with Christ, Jesus had a very simple but profound message to share that should enlighten us on his views in the matter. It's in Matthew 13 when he says, "The kingdom of heaven is like treasure hidden in a field, which a man found and hid. For joy over it, he goes and sells all that he has and buys that field." And again, the kingdom of heaven is like a merchant seeking beautiful pearls. When he found one pearl of great price, he went and sold all that he had and he bought it. But Jesus chose two very specific and similar analogies to enlighten us on the kingdom of heaven and what our pursuit of it should look like. If we keep this in context with the other analogies in the same chapter, the woman that was hiding the kingdom of heaven in her dough, and the kingdom of heaven growing like a mustard seed, it is clear in these analogies we are the ones searching for the treasure, and the kingdom of heaven is the treasure that we're seeking.
And in both of these stories, the exact same language is present when the treasure is found. The reasonable response is that the seeker sells all that they possess to acquire the treasure that could not be gained any other way.
This is consistent with other occasions of seekers who came to Jesus looking for access to the benefits of following him. Sadly, most of these interactions, the price was higher than they were willing to pay. Look at Mark chapter 10, when you find that the rich young ruler comes to Jesus. He wants to follow him, and Jesus gives him the statement, "Go your way, sell whatever you have, give to the poor, you'll have treasure in heaven. Come take a cross and follow me." And it says he was sad at this word and went away sorrowful, for he had great possessions. Or in Luke chapter 9, when someone came to him and wanted to follow him, and Jesus said, "I have nowhere to even lay my head." Another said, "Lord, let me first go and bury my father." Jesus said to him, "Let the dead bury their own dead. You go and preach the kingdom." A third one said, "I'll follow you. Let me bid farewell to those who are at my house." And Jesus said, "No one, having put his hand to the plow and looking back, is fit for the kingdom of God."
Those are always such powerful
These are tough
stories,
things to hear.
They're very tough to hear.
It almost sounds harsh coming from Jesus. Here were some people who clearly desired to follow him and had already made some sacrifices and commitments to place him in a position to do so. They pursued him. But following Jesus is not a part-time effort. And while this is tough medicine for each of us to swallow, here's an uncomfortable truth to reconcile. While his grace is completely free for all of us to receive, access to the kingdom of heaven comes with a costly lifetime commitment, a cost that Christ explicitly states that we should consider before we even begin to undertake the journey.
While the future benefits of a life lived in service to Christ are truly without comparison, all of these verses when taken together, tell the exact same story. The kingdom of heaven is called a pearl of great price for a reason. Our access to it has been provided to us by Christ's sacrifice and gift of grace, but we still have to be willing to give all that we have in exchange to possess it.
Here's a truth that we all have to consider, the same one that Microsoft is embracing, as they willingly forego the profits of the present to invest into the Game Pass service of the future. Our pursuit of Christ is not something we can simply add to our day as part of our routine and expect that to be acceptable to the Lord. Over and over again, he challenged those who were giving some with the command that he can only accept all. While the little that we have pales in comparison to both the present and future benefits of a life fully committed to him, we must still lay all of our desires, our passions, our goals, our relationships, and our possessions at his feet to receive them.
The only path to eternal life is through Christ, and he has made it abundantly clear that while he paid the full cost for us to receive it, we must make the decision to relinquish all that we consider ours in order to enter it.
Now, I doubt the people who stand to financially gain from Microsoft's investment in this Game Pass service were immediately excited about pouring large sums of money into a library of games that they were going to just give away to subscribers for a fraction of their market value. The amount of time that it will take for this service to balance out with the normal profit these games would have achieved, if sold through standard retail channels, could be very substantial. The break-even point could be many, many years in the future, but Microsoft made these decisions with full awareness that their short-term gain would be minimal at best. The Game Pass was never about harvesting these pearls for a quick buck. They are seeking to make Game Pass the primary method of game delivery in a future that's currently beyond our comprehension, a world that they are making massive investments into, so that when that day comes, they will be the only ones in a position to reap the richest of rewards.
They are buying the field that contains the hidden treasure at a massive cost to their current status quo. If they are betting wrong, they have literally everything to lose. But if they are right, the entire world of gaming will be their oyster one day. And the most valuable pearl of all will be in their possession because they were willing to forego the comforts of the present in order to pay the price for it.
If Microsoft was pouring all this money into Game Pass to maximize their current stock value for an immediate payout, we would consider them to be fools. The path of short-term pain and sacrifice for long-term gain and benefit is not designed for those who want rewards that will last beyond their current appetites. This is an action that only makes sense to those who are fully committed and sacrificially invested into a future that requires both patience as well as faith to see. The same is true for us as followers of Christ. In the immediacy of the present, the words of Christ to give all that we have in pursuit of Him are challenging and all-encompassing.
The gate to following Him is described as narrow and difficult for a reason. It is intentionally designed to require us to shed all that we are carrying in order for us to press through it to the other side.
As Paul shared in 1 Corinthians 15, if we only stand to gain from our relationship with Christ in this present age, we are the most pitiable of all humans on this planet. But as His followers, we freely make these sacrifices of our time, our energy, and pursuits because we're not looking at mere short-term, immediate gratification for these efforts. We are investing into a future beyond our comprehension, giving all that we have to possess a treasure that is far beyond the value of what we currently possess.
Is there a cost associated with following Christ? Absolutely. Our entire mindset has to be completely surrendered and overwritten by Him to align with the new direction we are pursuing.
We will give up many things in our endless pursuit of Him, different for each of us. But once we truly understand the value of what we are chasing versus the temporary and limited value of what we currently possess, we will make a Game Pass decision in our lives as well. What we stand to gain from these sacrifices is a far greater value than the temporary benefits of a life lived in service to our present desires.
Let's give what we don't truly possess to gain the future rewards that are valuable beyond measure. And in our all-encompassing pursuit of Him, we will find an eternal treasure that we can never lose that will make these short-term sacrifices worth it.